Hello? It's doing the countdown. I hear, Mom, Mom, where's Mom? Hey, baby, come on in. But I'm on camera, so did you put clothes on? You can come in. What is it?
I just wanted to talk to you for a bit. Are you doing something?
Oh, I am doing something. Oh, this is real life as it's happening. What's up, Jasmine? How sweet. My teenager just came in, knocked on the door, and was like, Mom, I want to talk to you. Oh, are you busy? Oh, man. Well, Freedompreneurs in action this morning. This is real life. One of the reasons that I'm running a little bit late this morning is because kiddos are home from school and balancing work and momming, and I forgot it was trash day, so I had to make sure that someone went out and took the trash out. And how precious. I'm just going to take a moment and honor the fact that my teenager just knocked on my office door and wanted to talk to me about life. I could see it in his eyes. I love it. But I do feel now I'm like, oh, okay, well, here I am working and the kiddo wants to talk to me. How many of you guys out there are working moms? Do you feel it? I see Miss Nance showing up in here. It is a beautiful and high level balance that we do to show up in our power, in our compassion, I'm bringing in Kuan Yin later on today inside the Akashic Academy, inside of our workshop. So that mother energy is coming in really strong right now. Maybe that's what he's feeling. Maybe he's feeling the strong mama vibe that I got going on right now, connecting with Kuan Yin. Anyway, that was a hell of a start, wasn't it? Let me just introduce myself if you were joining for the first time. I'm Emily Harrison, mother, and founder and director of the Akashic Academy, mentor to other lightworkers in the realm of the Akashic Records, living life showing up here in the 3D, transitioning to 5D, just like all of you guys, creating a business, working from home, making it all fit together, and beautiful friends. I know so many of you guys out there. Let me just pause for a second and say hello. We got Jasmine and Inez, Robin in the house. Okay. Nia J. I wonder if we flow that all together, Wallace. You're newer to me. It's lovely to meet you. Thank you for hanging out in here. And Miss Nancy and Cindy and Robin. Awesome. Thank you all for joining. Of course, we're going to dive in and bring forward some insight from the Akashic Records in just a little bit. So if you have questions coming forward about your business or the energies that you've noticed this week, things shifting in you, remember, there are no business problems, there are only personal problems. So when we begin to understand the connection and we begin to look at areas that we want to shift in our business, we can really dive in and do that on the microcosm inside of our own universe, and it would be my privilege and honor to bring through any insight that will serve you entrepreneurs, you light workers. Today, some of my favorite people on the planet, those of us who are making the transition from old jobs, old ways of being, into the 5D, stepping into sharing our messages on a more powerful scale, getting big, healing the planet. I have noticed a significant increase in the amount of people who are, hi Ann, joining in, and hi Carla, who are diving in and checking out what's going on inside of the Akashic Academy. Coach Nick and I have spent a lot of time slowly building the structures and the technological resources that are going to support being able to get our message out there more dynamically. And I'll tell you, with this moon that came in, the new moon of June, that's funny. I'm going to talk to you about asking the right questions, and I'll share with you a little more of my personal relationship, my behind the scenes with Coach Nick. But that was funny because I was rapping with Coach Nick earlier as well. I did another one there with the June moon. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. This June moon that came in, this June new moon, is bringing the energy to really heighten the awareness that all of the work that you have done, whether it is the physical, building the structures of your websites or your courses, or the work that you're doing on yourself to shift and change, or the planning that you've done, the manifesting, the dreaming, the vision boards, the goal setting that you have done is all beginning, the pieces are beginning to work together very, very dynamically. And we need to back off and allow things to work. We are designed to be free, freedompreneurs. Thank you, Coach Nick. We are designed to allow the things that we are showing up and doing to work with ease. And I promise you, if you are following Coach Nick's advice, do the things that he says and then just show up and let him work. He gave a great video this morning about Power Hour. I highly recommend that. I love it too because intuitively, I've been kicking into that this week, doing my power hours. But now Coach Nick is giving me a little bit more structure to understand, oh, yeah, I'm naturally kind of moving in this direction. Here's some outlines that I can keep in mind to harness even more power during that power hour. Okay, this is what I go to Coach Nick for. All right, let's talk about the what's coming up for me specifically this week is, yes, I'm backing off. I'm seeing the structures working. I'm resisting the urge to dive in and make the move a little faster. Okay, and I also had another thing come up for me this week where 4 people had said to me, oh, I really want to book a reading. I'm excited to book a session with you. Send me the information. And I sent them the information. And then they haven't booked yet. So I'm like, okay, what question do I need to ask in order to reignite the conversation, remind them nothing felt quite right? I was feeling, Nia J says, I'm a newbie here. Who's Coach Nick? Okay. Coach Nick is not only my partner in the Akashic Academy, but he is the business mind, the guru, I call him a business genius and a guru, although I think he kind of likes it, but he says he's a spiritual man. He'll turn the glory over, Coach Nick. But I do like to stroke his ego a bit, so he gives me the good stuff. Plus, he's super knowledgeable, super knowledgeable. Coach Nick is here coaching freedompreneurs, making us into freedompreneurs, helping us create businesses, successful ones online, sharing our mission, soul-driven. It's all a soul-driven platform and mission. So that is who my friend Coach Nick is. And he's the mastermind here around the Coaches and Healer Sangha, as well as the Freedompreneurs, which he co-founded with Sarah. So check out that guy. You want to know him. So I didn't call up Coach Nick, but I left him a voice message, and I'm like, all right, here's what's going on. I'm willing for you to call me out and tell me I'm just scared to make the right follow-up, but it doesn't feel like I'm asking the right question. And I find that this is it's an interesting theme of my life, because asking the right question, my students out there, so I got Nancy in the house, and I know I saw Cindy in the house, and of course I'm working more deeply with Inez. Monique in the house too. Welcome, Monique. The idea of asking the Akashic Records the right questions is what's going to begin to reveal the right answer. It's going to be what's going to begin to unravel the right relationship. And I'll just be totally honest with you guys. I find that when I'm reaching out and communicating and making those 3 to 5 personal connections that Coach Nick tells us to do every day, sometimes I don't ask an engaging enough question to get any feedback. Yeah, I say, I'm looking forward to knowing a little bit more about you too. And they never hear anything. So I'm beginning to recognize, oh, hell, I'm very good at asking the right questions in the Akashic Records to get the unravelment of what I'm looking for. I want to be more dynamic in doing this in my business. And so I needed to just recognize I hadn't found the right way that made me feel like I was still standing in my power. And so I reached out to Coach Nick and asked for a little insight. And he, he called me out. He said, yes, you are afraid, and you know it. But part of why Coach Nick likes working with me is because my history as an actress works really well to my favor in many different aspects, and being directable is one of them. If your ass gets hired to go on set and to play a certain character, you better do what if the director tells you to change something or change a line, your ass better change that line. You want to be easy to work with. You can't be a diva, right? So that open-mindedness, that willingness to grow has always been something that I've taken with me. And it makes me real damn easy to work with. I can tell you that. So if I can offer you anything today, become coachable. Even if you disagree, just allow yourself to disagree. Trust that you are allowing yourself to learn and grow. and do what you're told, okay? But Coach Nick gave me a brilliant question to reach out and just gently remind people, hey, if you were, did you have any problems finding the right slot on my schedule? Because I'd love to work with you and make that work out. So let me know what I can do. I was like, all righty, bam. So it's really about learning to ask the right questions. All right. And I'd love to hear from you guys. I shouldn't say first, because you can do it in whatever order you want. I'm about to go combing through the comments. Let me just tell you that. So I would like to know two things, both in the form of questions. One, I would like to know, what are your key questions that you ask to create engagement with your future clients, right? Another great question is, in terms of the Akashic Records, a lot of people haven't heard of the Akashic Records before. So when I ask about their level of familiarity, and if there's something in their life that they're ready to move and shift, and then if I can show them how it works, most people are excited to do that. If I say, hey, I'm Emily, and I'm the founder and director of the Academy, and I do the Akashic Records, and I'm excited to know more about you too. Fuck, man, people rarely respond to that. So I would like to know because I'm an actress, I'm a script kind of girl, I like the script. I'd really love to know, what are the questions that you find are really engaging and helpful with your clients when you are making new friends and new contacts? And I'd also like to know how I can show up for you today, all right? I'd like to know what your questions are in terms of where you would like guidance in your business. Where would you like to shift? Where would you like to move? Where would you like to expand? And it would be my honor and privilege to connect with your records, bring in very practical insight from your guides of how you can understand these issues, these aspects of what we want to grow and change more dynamically, as well as give you practical tips on how you can do that. All right? Tony Lee in the house. What's up, Tony Lee? Nancy says, Coach Nick Pereira, head of the Freedompreneurs, and he guides us all in the business and with spirit. Absolutely, that's brilliant. Oh, you know him. Oops. Oh, you did a Facebook Live with him about a year ago. I was all excited to knock my fake plant over. So easy to work with, even when you think you got it going. Yeah, he does. Coach Nick is really pretty brilliant at what he does, I think. Okay. Thank goodness the Akashic Records is getting lots of publicity thanks to ancient aliens and more. But that does not mean that they understand, not truly and fully. Miss Cara Melindy in the house. This is awesome. Hello, everybody. All right. So let's dive into the areas where you would like to grow and expand today. So talk to me about what's going on, what's showing up in your business that you're noticing, what areas are maybe new ideas coming in, where are you getting in your own way? Let's talk about this, because generally what we find is the energies move in a very pattern kind of way, meaning we're all affected by the same cosmic energy that has the ultimate effect of unfolding particular aspects. I love that Cara Melindy is here, because astrology, from my perspective, has a lot to do with it, because all of these planetary bodies in their alignment hold specific chemistry, hold a specific vibration that creates kind of like a sacred classroom here for us on the planet. And depending on how these aspects affect our own personal experience and circumstances, we find that stuff comes up. So, Inez, thank you so much for asking. I would like to know how I can make myself more available to money flow, please. All right. This is where the idea of ease comes in. We have to be, you got to find the balance of being hands off and allowing all of what's working to naturally work. But it doesn't mean do nothing. Oh, and this actually brings me right back around to what Sifu Boggy was sharing with me this morning, and the connections between so many different philosophies, from the ancient Hawaiians to the Mayans to the Taoists to the ancient Egyptians. But this idea and this understanding that once you're connected and once you begin to observe patterns and understand how things are working, you make very small movements for big impact. It doesn't mean no movement, but it means small concentrated, focused movement. So, Inez, that's going to require some reprogramming for you and a lot of us. Okay, thank you for asking this question, because Jimmy boy's in the house. It really allows for the opportunity to just recognize we have been done a big disservice. I don't want to give away our power, but there is a huge entanglement and there is huge paradigm to support the belief that you must work really hard for your money. And so we tend to do that in some form or fashion. And even as you're beginning to show up and to create your own job, or I should say me, I'll talk about me, my tendency is to constantly do more, figure out it, and then I'm like, nope, I'm learning to back off, allow things to work. It's a big one. We're all working on it, all right? So let me ask specifically now, Inez, where you can bring your attention to creating a template, and I'm going to say this, and I don't really mean it, where it doesn't matter, because everything matters. It matters hugely. This is where you're creating the template. But the purpose of them using that language where they say where it doesn't matter is basically where the stakes are less high, so that you can relax a little bit. Okay? We want to learn to see where in our life can I create this template where I can shift my way of being, where the stakes are low, where I'm not extremely triggered, where I can have a more playful spirit. So let's find that for you. First of all, the instant thing that I saw, Inez, when I closed my eyes was you going to a faucet, turning the faucet on, and recognizing how easily flow is available to you. Hopefully you have running water where you are. I know the vast majority of the planet does have access to running water. And ooh, here's another one. Big adjustment. If you have a roof over your head, running water, food to eat just for today, and change in your pocket, you are richer than 95% of the world. So that adjustment of, one, how easy life really is and how much source and resources available to us in this moment. I think about that shit every time I load my dishwasher. I'm like, life is so easy. I am not hauling anything, because we like to watch a lot of Survivor and Naked and Afraid in my family. I like to watch people just like letting go of life and getting real with nature and diving in. Not hauling anything down to the Truckee River to wash it. When I go down to the Truckee River, I'm going down to meditate, baby. Do my Tai Chi. Life is really, really easy. So begin to flip this perspective and see it everywhere around you, okay? And as for you, they want you to take that visualization and actually every time you're turning on the water in your house to wash your hands, to take a shower, to fill up a pot of water, making yourself some soup, recognize how available that resource is to you. We're also, Inez, going to be doing Kuan Yin activations later on, and she is particularly good for prosperity. That's happening inside the Akashic Academy for those of you guys who are members, happening at 11 a.m. So I invite you definitely to tune into that. I'm going to be giving you some history of Kuan Yin, as well as opening up the records and giving you a personal introduction. Not that you need me to do it for you, but it's fun. It's fun to create that sacred space and hold that powerful space in the records. So that will be happening later on today. Nancy says, I believe as I launch my show, the making money part will come through and doesn't need to be my first focus. Does that feel naive? No. I mean, if you can truly be unattached to that, layers of that, probably, Nancy, that like as you begin to just, because you're going to learn so much. It's going to be like a whole nother journey of peeling away your shit when you start launching your shows, people. So just recognize that the growth is, it's first of all, they're just saying it's still going to be a peeling away process. So to not have expectations and to not have attachments to the money flowing out, no, that does not feel naive. very powerful place to stand in. However, Spirit is saying, and especially for you, Nance, because I know what a powerful creator you are, recognize that anytime you show up with a lack mentality anywhere, in terms of maybe lacking that you have the to show up and do it, the knowledge, the skill, the technological skill, the commitment to continue to get the information every week, to show up, like the anytime like you question or doubt, or you show up in a space of lack, you're going to be weaving that into your process. So you want to zap it as soon as possible, because we sure as hell don't want that shit bleeding in when it is, when the money does start flowing in. And the money naturally, if you stay in this mindset of being abundant with your growth and expansion, even as you're going through this process, Nance, everything else will be created from that. That's an example of that small movement that creates a very, very big impact. So make sure that you're not showing up in lack anywhere. I mean, if you are, you're like, okay, I see it. All right, shake it off. Honor yourself, ask for help. Doesn't mean that you have to get it right or perfectly, okay? Because you're still, like, that's why I say it's going to be a growth process. You're still going to see your shit come up. Naked and afraid exile has been intense, yes. Dear Jessie is here. But zap the lack, yes, ma'am. All right, we have about 4 more minutes if any of you guys have any more questions about what's coming up. Jur, thank you for joining us. You had any questions coming up about your business and patterns that you've seen or things going on? Maria, welcome. You got anything coming up, Miss Maria? Jimmy boy, for you? That was a really huge takeaway last week for one of our members who showed up, was the recognition of how you're showing up and building your business, and how you're showing up every day, from what emotional standpoint you're showing up, from the mindset that you're showing up. This is why it bites you in the butt to show up with that old mindset of spinning your wheels and working really hard, and because you're just gonna likely attract people to you that do that same thing, work really hard. Do they have the time and the space to dive into your courses and classes and your services? No, they do not. If you are a coach or a healer and you offer some kind of service or some kind of course, you better have enough space in your own personal life to take those courses, to take courses that you're excited about, to create space for your own learning and growth and your passion. If you want passionate people who are ready to dive in and show up with you, then you got to show up to your work that way. And truthfully, deep play, guys, is more important than work. Do not put your work above your play. That's one area where obviously we got to have a nice balance of each one, but you can't show up in rest, in play, and in practice, which is where you do your work and all of your other stuff, right? Play is where you play, rest is where you sleep. You rest, you rejuvenate, you take a vacation. Even though we're beginning to recognize, I'm talking so much with my hands here, let me just put those down. Even though we're beginning to recognize the dynamic importance of this balance, we're still ranking them, okay? We're like, okay, but I'll do this one first, and then I'll balance I'll do my work first, and then I'll balance it with some play, and then I'll balance it with some rest. Or maybe you switch it. I don't know. Maybe you go work, rest, play. I don't know what you do. But whatever you do, play is really, really important. I might put rest and play. I don't know. You got to figure out which one you do first. I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg, because the play is going to make you tired, so you have to rest. Right? Maybe you want to rest up so you're ready to play really hard. But these are hugely important components to making sure that you are energetically creating the template by showing up in the way that you want your clients to show up with you. All right, everyone. I have loved this time with you, as always, and this is deep play. Yes. That's why I like to bring a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, maybe that's why the weird voices come out. While I like to hang out with you guys, I like to bring play into every aspect of my life. But that does not mean that substitutes for time when I can just dive in and play without any attachments, without the outcome of having to have a business goal set up, which is what I tend to do. I tend to marry it all together. For those of you who will be following along over in intuitive development for the Kuan Yin activations of light, I'm really excited to bring this in for you. And of course, I'm going to be continuing on over at the Akashic Academy network for Akashic Answers with Emily, which is always a fun time doing collective readings and healings for our entire audience. So I'll invite you to continue to join me for the rest of the day. Namaste, everybody.